sawfish was at the bottom of the sea. He thought he was the most handsome fish in the whole of the entire Atlantic or whatever Caribbean Sea. Then he got washed up. Then turned dry, smelled stink, and Nancy came. He was the first, the sawfish. Then after that, he and Nancy became a matchmaker because sawfish was like, he's so ugly, no man, no woman, they want to marry me. So after that, he went through different ones like Miss Eggplant, Miss Pumpkin, and then at the end, he found true love with Aki Sawfish. They became Aki Sawfish. They got married and they lived happily ever after.
Wow, what did I ask Nice. So from these stories that we would have heard about Anansi, what can we conclude about Anansi? What can we say about him? He is sly and he loves to lie. He loves to lie. How many of you believe he's sly? How many of you believe he loves to lie? Alright, good. How many of you want to be like Anansi? Smart. Nobody wants to be like Anansi. Anansi is smart, he's clever. Okay? Good. Alright, good. Now, we will be going into the origin of Anansi. Where did Anansi originate from? Now, can anybody tell me where they think this story or this name Anansi, where it came from? Anybody? Caribbean folklore. Anybody else? Where do you think that Anansi would have originated from?
Stories told by slaves during plantation time.
Good. How many of you believe that? Good. So Anansi was originated from stories that was used to tell slaves, that was passed from one generation to another during the slave trade. So during the slave trade, which we know as slavery, they used to buy and sell slaves. So what would happen in the process of buying and selling? Families would be segregated. So you would have division of family. Father gone here, mother gone here, children gone there. Right? And in order to keep them comforted, what they would do, they would use stories such as Anansi story to show persons how smart. And although Anansi is small, and although he's just a spider, you can be smart, you can be clever to overcome things that look bigger than yourself. Okay? Good. Now we're going to go into a video that will tell us more about the origin of Anansi, and I want you to pay keen attention to this video. Okay?
Is to help you come to a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of the play as you prepare for the CSEC English weekend. We're looking at everything. Plot, characters, themes, literary devices, all that stuff. While I will be quoting many lines from the play, what we will not be doing is reading the play. Read the play yourself before taking this course. The information here assumes that you read the entire play at least once. The play is pretty short, and I read the entire thing while making notes in about 2 hours. Very kind of CSEC to give us a short play to work with, since we already have so many other texts to get through. By the way, if you have any questions or ideas while taking this course, leave them in the comment section and I'll be sure to respond. Even if you have lots of questions, I respond to all of them, so don't be afraid to post your questions while I go through the videos. The course is divided into 5 videos, each tackling one aspect of the play. In this video, part 1, we'll be looking at some background information on Anansi, which will help us to make sense of the play. Who is Anansi? Anansi is part man, part spider. The first Spider-Man, and certainly the one with the smartest mouth. He is both hero and villain, but mostly hero. And he's a trickster who finds all sorts of devious ways to defeat his enemies, and also friends, who are much bigger and stronger than he is. Anansi represents the idea that wit and wisdom can triumph over size and might. Anansi is a fictional character that stars in many Caribbean and Western folk tales, but was created by the people of Ghana. Anansi stories made it into the Caribbean when Africans were brought here as slaves. Since Anansi was always smarter than his adversaries and always found a way to escape difficult circumstances, these stories served as a means of encouragement and hope for the African slaves. This will be clearly seen in the play. Also, African heritage was preserved through Anansi stories. As the older Africans would always tell the youngsters these stories, who in turn grew up and passed them on to the next generation, and so on. In fact, Anansi himself can be considered a sort of keeper of stories, or even god of stories. But how did Anansi come to be so involved with storytelling? What was his origin story? Well, to find out how Anansi became so powerful, we have to go back to one of the oldest and most famous Anansi stories. I'll link a video in the description that tells and animates the story beautifully. But for now, I'll give you a song. Long ago, there were no stories in the world, because Nyame, the sky god, kept all of them. He had all the stories of all the animals and people who had ever existed. Anansi weaved his web up to the heavens and climbed up to see the sky god. He tried to buy the stories from Nyame, who laughed at him, telling him that even great kingdoms could not afford his stories. So how could he, a tiny spider, afford to buy them? But whether or not Anansi had money, what he did have was undying confidence. So he told the sky god to name his price. The sky god gave Anansi an impossible task as a price to pay for the stories. He had to capture the four most dangerous creatures in the world and bring them to the sky god. Bonini the python, the Mogoro hornets, Osebo the leopard, and Moetia the forest spirit. How on earth would a little spider capture these creatures? Well, to make a short story shorter, Anansi fooled the snake into stretching himself along a bamboo stick and then tied it up easily, capturing it. He then tricked the leopard into falling into a pit, then pretended to rescue it, only to capture it and tie them. Then he tricked the hornets into believing that it was raining and into taking shelter into his gourd. Of course, he sealed them inside, trapping them easily. Finally, he lured and captured the forest spirit using a dog, since she was lonely and wanted company. Having captured all four creatures, the sky god had no choice but to give the world's stories to Anansi. And this is how Anansi became, in a sense, the personification of storytelling, and also of wit and cleverness. Now that we have some background on Anansi, let's take a look at display. We get started on that in part 2 of the course. By the way, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to make sure you never miss these videos.
Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to look at the questions on the smart board here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to choose a pair very quickly, and we discuss with our pair. We're going to think about the question, and then we're going to share. Okay? Think you understand what we're doing? So you look at the question, discuss with your pair in 2 minutes, and then we're going to share. So the first question is, who is Anansi and how is he portrayed in the play according to the video? Julia, what can you tell us about the first question?
Anansi is a half spider, half human, and he's portrayed as an overconfident character.
He's a half spider, half human, and he is portrayed as
An
overconfident and clever individual. Do we agree with her?
Yes.
Okay, good. Put your hands together. Number 2, in what way did Anansi's story help preserve African culture during the transatlantic slave trade? Prunella.
Anansi's stories help to preserve African culture during the transatlantic slave trade because these stories were a reminder that even though they were far away from their home country or they didn't know what was going on around them, because remember they were inside of these slave boats and they were like small as ants, and these slave boats were huge, humongous. And then using Anansi, they could see themselves in Anansi, giving them hope that even though this obstacle may be bigger than me, my mind can be bigger than the obstacle in front of me.
Do we agree with her, class?
Yes.
Alright, put your hands together. Good. Number 3, why is the play described as both humorous and moral? Yes.
Okay. So Anansi is relatable to slaves, right? Since he is small, and some of the slaves during that time they may feel small or overpowered, or
they might feel some kind of lower, that they're a lower standard than the masters as is that time. So they're being looked down upon, right? And so was Anansi. But by using their wit and by Anansi using his wit and his cleverness, he overthrows big, strong, and mighty animals, showing the slaves that they may feel small, but in reality, they are actually mighty and they can overcome anything.
All right, do we agree with her? All right, everybody agree with Lisa. Let's go to number 4. What might the playwright want readers to reflect on about society through Anansi's behavior? Atia.
The society would want people to reflect on, even though they are small and just one person. In society, they can make a bigger impact by using their minds.
By using their mind. Okay, what do you think? All right. We do agree with her?
Yes.
All right, put your hands here. What do you think about the question? What can you tell us?
Okay, basically what I learned by Anansi is that even though Anansi was small, he was able to use his mind to overcome big obstacles. Same with society. If we come together and use our mind, we can overcome bigger obstacles in life.
Good. Put your hands together. Good. Now, what did you learn that you did not already know, Ella? What did you learn about the play you did not already know?
That Anansi is a small and clever fighter and
Just now. Let him answer.
Anansi is a small clever fighter and he gets through any obstacle that he needs.
All right. Think we agree with him? All right. Put your hands together. Yes, Malachi.
I didn't know that Anansi play had spirit.
You didn't know that he had spirits inside? Okay, and did you know that Anansi play included anything about slavery or the slave trade? Did we know that? You knew? You didn't. So you learned something there. All right, put your hands together for yourself. So now we're going to go into an activity, and we'll be doing this activity in groups. At least 5 persons in one group, okay? Groups of 5. So what we'll be doing, we'll be taking the name Anansi and we'll be making an acrostic poem. How many of you can remember what an acrostic poem is? Most of you, okay? So we are going to create an acrostic poem using the name Anansi, right? So we can have A for always outsmarted, always outsmarting persons, or like Malachi said, always thinking ahead. Okay, but I won't be able to give you all because you're going to take my idea. Right? Good. So we can go ahead and get that done now. You have 10 minutes to do that. Alright, good. Time's up for that activity. Now I'm going to ask this group to tell us what they have for the acrostic. With an answer.
Always think before you do.
I can't hear you.
Always think before you do.
Okay?
Never give up. But then, yes, never give up.
Never give up.
Always be confident.
Always be confident.
And never feel inadequate.
Never feel inadequate.
And sneaky, shy, but never stupid.
Sneaky, shy, but never stupid. Okay, good. Put your hands together for that. Good job. Now let's have this group over here.
Amazing.
And never gives up.
And always outsmarting bigger forces.
And never plays fear.
S, sly in all his ways.
I, intelligent and beautiful.
Good. Put your hands together for that. Good. Wonderful. Good. So now we're going to go into completing a worksheet based on questions from Anansi, the play Anansi. So I'm going to distribute the worksheets and you will complete the questions on them. questions on the worksheet, and then we'll go through them. Okay? So now that we're finished with the worksheet, let's have, a little sharing moment based on the answers that we have. And this is how we will be concluding our list. Good. So the first question, who is Anansi? Carissa. The answer is B, a clever trickster spider. Do we believe that?
Yes.
Good. Put your hands together forward. Number 2, Anansi's story originated from which continent? Malachi. Okay, good. Is he correct?
No. Africa. No.
Africa. Good. Put your hands together forward. Number 3, why? Okay. Why were Anansi's stories important during the time of the triangular slave trade?
Anansi's stories were important during this time because it kept the slaves hopeful.
Good. Do we agree with her?
Yes.
Yes. Number 4. Which of the following traits best describe Anansi Darvish?
Clever, brave, and mischievous.
Do we agree with him?
Yes.
Good. Put your hands together for him. Number 5. Anansi is a trickster who uses his cleverness instead of strength. Can you give an example of a clever trick Anansi might do in a modern setting? Penelope.
In a modern setting, Anansi would try to bargain his way. Say, for example, the product is selling for $50. He would try to bargain that down all the way to like maybe $5 or something to make his money's worth.
Alright, yes.
Like in modern setting, Anansi would buy something that's buy one get one free, and return the one that he bought and keep the free one.
Wow. Put your hands together. Good thinking, good thinking. Alright, so think about the video that we watched on the triangular slave trade. How did Anansi's story help preserve culture and teach lessons to enslaved people? Yes.
Okay, during the triangular slave trade, the Anansi stories, they told from one generation to another. The diction and story portrayed sort of a culturally depicted setting, and so the new generation would have pride in their culture and be hopeful.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to answer that? I want somebody else. Let's have you, Julia. How did Anansi's story help preserve culture and teach lessons to enslaved people?
So Anansi taught slaves to be joyful and even though he may be small, he can still overcome big challenges.
Alright, good. Put your hands together for yourself. So for your homework, I'd like you to research on how or why. Why is Anansi stories important? Why are they important? Why is the play Anansi important? Okay, for your homework, you're going to research and you're going to write a paragraph